Picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
E.T. Phone Home.
Well, hello and welcome to this new series on the partwork build of the Fanhome Build Your Own Very Own E.T. Now, E.T. is a movie that I have had a complicated relationship with. Before I worked for the state, I had a couple of, retail jobs. Everybody's had those. One of my first jobs out of school was working in a theater. And we had E.T. Play in our theater, and it played for 4 months. It ran 5 times a day for 4 months. It was the first big blockbuster we had. And every time that we would say, put in the paper, last week, the crowds would come back and it would sell out again, and they would decide, hey, this is making money, let's keep it. But I have to tell you, after spending all that time with that movie in our theater, and of course, it's a very small staff of people working there, so we all did several jobs. And one of the things you have to do is you go in and you clean up in between shows. Yes, we did sweep between shows. We swept between shows and we mopped every night. That was the rule. And it was many years later before I could watch that movie and hear the end theme music without compulsively picking up stuff. Every time I heard the end credits music, I would just go around and start cleaning. So if I'm ever stuck and I need to clean the house, I put that music on and it gets me right back in the mood. Thank you, Mr. Compressor. And then, wouldn't you know, I leave that theater job and then I go and work in a video rental store. Mom and Pop, a chain of video stores here in North Carolina that I won't say mom and pop. I'll say family owned. That's better. But another one of the big releases that we got was E.T. When it came out, and I remember it. It raised the stink when it came out because it was one of the first video cassettes that had a commercial on the front of it. It was Pepsi, and we got so many complaints about, I rent movies so that I don't have to watch stupid commercials. And there was a commercial on the front of it. And it was one of the first, maybe one of the first, but one of the biggest sell-through videos. Most videos, when they came out, they were priced at $80, and they were priced for the rental store so that rental stores would buy copies of it and then, make their money back on rentals. But consumers very often didn't buy movies back then until they broke the $29.99 barrier. Paramount did it first, I think, and then anything that was 19 or 29, you'd see an uptick in people buying the movie. Now, we sold our used movies after a certain date. Now, you would buy an $80 movie, and if after it rents about 20 or 30 times, it's made its money back and it's not as popular anymore, and we'd put those out for sale. But when E.T. came out, boy, those were for sale, and people were snapping them up, and everybody was selling E.T. You could buy it at the grocery store, you could buy it at the gas station, you could buy it practically anywhere. It wasn't for sale just only in video stores. And the savvy of you out there will know this fact. E.T., the video cassette of it, you could tell it wasn't a counterfeit by 2 reasons. A, it had a hologram sticker on it, and B, it had a green gate on it. The plastic thing at the top of a VHS tape, that thing across the top, that was called the gate. And if it was green, it was an actual authentic copy. Now, there were people that would put out, I won't mention various foreign countries, that would put out bootleg versions, and it didn't have the green gate, so you could tell. These are the things that 30 years later I'm still remembering because it's burned into my brain and has pushed out all of the useful math that I learned. But the reason you're here today is because we're working on the ET part work build. I hadn't originally planned on doing a series of this, but I got a lot of good responses on the Optimus Prime build, and that has finished up. So I've got, you know, room on the schedule. So I figured we would pick up the ET where we're at now. We are on issue 9, stage 9. This is as much as we've got built so far. That is the head with the sleepy eyes. The eye mechanism is in there. Motors are already in place for that. The moving back and forth motor is there. We're going to work on the motor for the eyelid today, and we've got the finger. Yes, I've given you the finger. We'll start with the finger. It's got a little light in the end. It lights up red. This time we've got 6 stages, which is nice. We've got, used to be like 3, you get 3 stages before, and they're giving us more to do. So without much further ado, let's jump into here and pick up the build already in progress. Now, as I've said, we've got the face mostly ready. We've got the sleepy eyes there. We also got in pack number 1 the big rubber face. This is the big rubber face. Now, if you if you're not if you didn't follow my original builds, I'll catch you up on everything we have. But this is the rubber face, and it fits quite nicely on top of all of this. So this is the look you have when we are done. So we're going to be building onto this. Looks like we've got some more head frames, and of course after every stage, it looks like we get to test the electronics. Alright, so it looks like the first thing we're going to do this time around is the eyelid mechanism and the mouth servo motor. Now this is going to start, this continues the trend that I really don't like, and I don't know why they do it. I wish they wouldn't. I've noticed this in the last couple of builds. I hope it gets better. It's no stranger that you will start to build a chunk of something and then continue it in the next episode or in the next issue, the next time around. But what they've done that I really don't like is they'll do that with motors and motor housings, particularly ones that have gears in them. Now, you see, you will build something like this and put all the gears in and put some oil, grease on it and all that kind of stuff, and then you just leave it. And then the next month or 6 weeks, when you get the next package, you get the lid that goes on top of it. I wish they would just back their, however they need to backdate their inventory or update their inventory, but give me the final piece to close that motor over, and I don't know, leave another part off for the next month. But leaving it open with grease on it, it's nobody's friend, and it's a mess that you don't need to have. Doesn't bother me that maybe you don't test it or you don't add the next little piece, but leaving half a motor around, it just irks me, and no one likes me to be irked. You wouldn't like me when I'm irked, but we're going to do it anyway. I will do the construction of this magazine and then come back, check back in, and tell you how it went, show you what it is, and then we'll talk about the next magazine. Alright, we're to the point now. We've got the motor hooked up, we've got the mechanism hooked to the eyelids. So if I test this, it's going to shut the eyelids but not open them back up. We need some other event to make that happen. So there you go, that's it. Now I can manually open them back up, push it again, and then you see that it's working. Turn that off, do that, turn it back on. See, it's only gonna move it the one way for the time being. We've done that, and we have, I'll take these apart. We have done half of the motor with all of the grease. Now I'm gonna end up looking like a fool here because it's gonna be a scant few minutes after I close this up and I get the next issue out that I am going to find the other half of that motor. There it is. See, it wasn't that much of a hardship to wait that long, but had that been at the end of the stage, Oh, how I would have laughed. The reason I brought it up was because there was an earlier stage where it was the last issue, and therefore you were left hanging, so to speak. But now we've got this second set here, and we will open up issue 10. Oh, where was that? That would have been handy when I was building that model. Oh boy, that would have been handy. If I start seeing a lot of resources like that, it's going to bring back some memories. Okay, the mouth and servo motor number 2 and eyelid mechanism. Now we've done. Oh, here's the switch. I'll bet that's the little limiting switch. And yes, we have to undo some of the stuff we've already done to redo some of the stuff. Okay, well, that's what we got to do. So let me finish up this motor, and we'll show you the next stage. Okay, we're done with step 10, or issue 10, stage 10. I don't know how you want to call these. This is, I will call it issue 10 since it's a magazine. We will call this issue 10, but we're finished with it. We've got the motor here that we can test, and this goes round and round. Doesn't make a lot of noise. It goes fairly slow. Take that off the tester. We've got the switch put in here, which is a we've got no way to control this. We've not been told to do anything with it, but basically I think it's the thing that is going to let the eyes go back and forth, or it's going to maybe it's going to do the eye or the eyelid. I don't know exactly. So we're going to let that go. We've got all that set back, and we're ready for issue 11. Pardon the squeaky chair. Issue 11. It's a thick one. Let's see what we're doing in issue 11. The mouth servo motor mechanism. Let's see, there's 12, 14, 13. And I don't see issue 11. Did I not get it? Let's see, there's 13, there's 12, there's 14. Well, I'll have to look around and see if issue 11 is somewhere. It was here, it was under my mat. I was afraid I was going to have to place a call. So, but it looks like it's all... Yeah, it's all mechanisms and flaps and screws. Nothing cosmetic here. Cut open the screws. Now, one thing I've noticed, this is unlike Agora, is that you don't seem to get more than the screws you need. So we're making sure that we are accounting for every one of them. We don't want to have to scrounge, because these don't look like standard sizes. Sorry, I got this rag up here because I've got grease all over everything from this motor. Okay, we will do this bit and come back. Alrighty, we're ready to show the fruits of episode or issue 11. So we've got the mouth motor attached, and you can see maybe from the side. I don't think these batteries are long for this world, but there we go. And I think the other ones, the rest of it from now on is just cosmetic. So that will be issue 11. Issue 12. Issue 12 is this guy. Now, I've seen Wayne do his build, and I'm going to try it a little bit differently. He put down the side, and then he tried to fit the other side into it. I'm going to fit both sides together at the beginning, and then put them down, because they do clip together. So we're going to do issue 12 and issue 13. After doing a couple of issues of motors and such, these are more along the lines of, hey, look at this, ain't it neat? So we're going to start with this. We're going to start by slotting these two together. The nice thing is it gives you a really good indication of the overall size of the head. Come on, you want to go together. I know you do. Let me get the persuaders out. Yep, there you go. I knew you did. So this is the entire head plate for the top. So we can now attach this down to the top of the head, and using the screws that we've got, we'll go ahead and unplug that. Using the screws we've got, we can put these 6 screws in. And that was issue 12 and 13. Like I said, it was a matter of putting both of them on. It's kind of interesting that this is an obvious cutout for something here. I wonder if there's going to be some sort of sensor, but you can really get an idea of how big this head is going to be. Now the issue 14, I don't know why they just didn't go ahead and give 15, but I know why, because they want to spread it out, keep the fun going. But 14 is just the start of one. It's got one measly screw, and which was my band name in college. That's an old joke. This goes, keeping it like this. It wants to go on this side, I believe. And it attaches to the front, to the face here. The face frame there. Give it a push. Make sure no wires aren't pinched. And let's make sure that that wire's going that way. And there, that wire's coming out. This wire is coming out. We don't want anything to be unduly encumbered. These are the 3 wires, and then that's the 4th one, and then this goes in here. I switched to this little stubby screwdriver because I can get a lot better torque on it than the ones that came with it, or the screwdrivers that came with the kit. Now, because it's plastic on plastic, you don't want to over tighten. You tighten it to hand tight, and then maybe a 1/4 turn more. That gets me to the end of this issue, and that is the end of issue 14. So it wouldn't be right if I left you without putting the face on. Let's see, this is the mouth. This is the one that we just did the work on, so I will go ahead and plug that to the tester. Make sure that's still working. Okay, and now we're going to put the face on. Ooh, this is going to be a little bit harder now that we've got the whole front of the head built. Let's get this pulled on. Oh yeah, okay, that's going to fit over there nicely. Okay, oh, he's definitely come to life, because that has filled out the face behind the rubber now. And let's go ahead and let's see what happens when we turn. Dead batteries. Doesn't have the juice it needs to open the mouth. See, there he is. Yeah, I'm going to blame that on the battery. But we can see, okay, there's that one. Let's see if we can do, which one is this? Is this the eye blink or the eyelid? Oh, that's the eyes back and forth. Still a little noisy. Okay, and that would mean that this is the eye closing. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's going to close the eyes. Push that back and hit the on button again. Yeah. Okay, there he is with the sleepy eyes. Yeah, he's got the sleepy eyes. And that's it for this month on the ET build. They're coming rather regularly now, which is nice because I know that Fanhome has been a little bit spotty on their record for timely part releases. I'm expecting RoboCop maybe tomorrow. I still don't think there's enough going on with the RoboCop to make it part of the video. Maybe I'll put that in the regular build for this week and just do a little highlight off of that. There's the RoboCop, at least in this, and in my history so far, there's just not been enough each month to warrant a video. And I don't want to save them up and do them all at once. I like doing it as soon as it arrives. So next month, I bet you we'll be doing the other underside of the cheek there, and then who knows whether we'll do more skeleton of the neck or whether we will start working on the skin. I almost would rather, other than the face we've already got, I would rather do all the skeleton first and then spend the end of it putting the skin on. I think it's going to be a lot easier that way, but I'm not the guy who's in charge of making that decision. So until the next week, you look to the skies.
Be good.